Whoa! How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Just wanted to be able to go live for a little bit, and wanted to, let's actually make sure that we're getting some feed over into Facebook and things like that. Oh, it says I'm streaming on Twitch. How about that? Cool. Yeah, well, I want to, oh, that's what I wanted to do. Let's take this and we will copy. You see, how do I change to editor mode in this? There we go, studio mode. Okay, ZBrush live. I want to take the text from my my ZBrush live theme and put it into it looks like it won't let me. Okay, let's go copy. Now we're already getting somebody chiming in. Let's see who's here. Let's add text. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work for me, so we'll just not worry about it for right now. Oh well. Okay. Alright. Anyway, so cool. Who do we have with us right now? For some reason I've got something chiming in on YouTube, but I can't see it on my box. I'll have to see if there's something wrong with it. Spicer's on here. Well, it's fun that you're here, bud. Alright, anyway, so to get started, what I'm going to do is I want to work on my scene a little bit, because one of the things that I felt kind of bad about when I was doing this on the ZBrush channel was that I wasn't able to get the cliff to work using booleans. So I think what I'm going to do instead is do it using polygroups and polyloops. So let's go ahead, password. Okay, yeah, hopefully this should be working. If it doesn't work, then sorry, but it's just not going to work. Yeah, so I'll just hope that it works, and we'll hope for the best. Okay. trying to see if I can get this to show, and it's not looking like it's wanting to. Looks like it's not wanting to be super cooperative. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started with this. So I've got my dragon loaded up, and I also have my scene loaded up. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to come clear down here to the bottom, because this is giving me a good outline for what I want my mountain breakup to look like, at least for this top piece. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to select the mountain and trying to decide how many things do I have that I don't actually want. Okay, it looks like everything is actually needed for the scene, so what I'm going to do, let's get rid of everything except for these two pieces. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay. Let's go ahead, take this, and we'll just start masking it out. Okay, now this isn't going to give me the exact profile that I want. However, what I can do, at least for the sake of making it close, I can come over to polygroups and I can say group masked. See, group masked right here. Take that polish up to 1. Okay, and the reason why, let's take a look at it. Okay, right now you can see the edge of this mask is not very smooth. It's not being very I mean, it's not very smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit group mask, but I have the polish all the way up to 1. Check that out. Super smooth line. I don't want it to be super smooth like that, but I don't want it to be jagged like it was. I want this to be a stylized, jagged, and controlled. You know, I want it to feel like I've got control, because I got control, I got the power. Okay, let's get that. Let's get something like this. Something like this. And what I'm trying to do is find a good, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I keep my Twitch and my YouTube open. Hopefully I can at least be able to read comments as they come in by looking at the stream. Go to my channel and hey, look, I'm live now. Woo! Let's make this big. Oh, I'm seeing there's something. Oh, there we go. Chat is being funny. Chat is being funny. Chat is ready to display messages. Oh, okay. So what it is it's reposting my messages from earlier when I made sure to make mention that the chat was being funny. I see what it is now. I see what it is. Okay. So right here, I'm trying to figure out a good jagged pattern, because I don't want this to be really smooth. I don't want it to be really even. In this spot. Let's do something like this. I like to vary it up. Okay, I like to look at, okay, I mean right here I've got like this step right here, and then I've got this, but then I want it to be a different length here than it is here. So maybe what I'll do, let's take this over a little bit, make these a little bit closer. Okay. Let's make it something like that. Let's see. Trying to decide how much of this I want to have. The other thing that we'll do, and we'll go through and we'll play with other tools and whatnot here in a minute. So here's one piece, okay. I'm going to hide it by Control-Shift clicking the red piece, okay. And if I wanted to, I mean, I could go through and I could turn off the line if the line is being distracting. Right now, let's keep it together. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to come over here now. I want to Control-Shift click on the brush type. I want a slice curve. I'm just going to kind of click and drag down, double tap Alt. Is that ghost there? Dude, good to see ya. Okay. Double tap it again and bring it down. And let's see what this does for me. I could take that. So those are two ways where you can get this sort of cool polygroup separation. And then I just go through little by little. I gotta get little chunks out. So remember what I was saying with this mountaintop, what I want is to have the pieces kind of floating independently. Okay, so we're gonna take this piece. Okay, let's hit save. It feels like it's being a little bit finicky. Okay, so now we got this piece. Let's get a little bit of something here. Oops, I don't want that up top. Actually, let's do this. Do something like that. See what it gives me. Okay. Now we can come over here. Let's get this piece right here. Okay. Too smooth, right? So we're just going to make it more jagged. Okay. And then maybe I want another little chunk right here. We'll see. Okay. Okay, so these are essentially the little pieces that we're going to break off that are going to be kind of floating there. And we'll add other little things if needed, and we might actually end up bringing some of these pieces back. We'll have to see. Oh, look at that, it gave me some fun little souvenir chunks down there. Oops, I didn't want that. Oops, interesting. Okay, so now we're just trying to make sure that these pieces are like not giving me weird polygroups, because I don't want weird polygroups. Okay, so let's do this now. We're going to come over to our geometry tab. We're going to go edge loop. We're going to say group loops. Okay. Now this should get me something like that. Way too polished. Okay. This is a problem. This is not something that I want to have happen. It's just too smooth. So we're going to take this group polish down to something below 5. Okay. Just to be able to try it out. I like to turn off triangles. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. We'll have to see. Oh hey! Ghost of Christmas Future is actually showing up on the chat. Okay, so we're good. We're good. I can watch the chat now. Good. Woot. All right. Cool. Okay, so now that we've got this, let's come over here. Yeah, we're gonna keep the group loops the same. Yeah, still polishing it like way too much. So instead of doing that, let's try using our panel loops, see if we can get anything that we like. Okay, I don't want any thickness. Polish, let's take that way down. Panel loops. Did it already work? And kind of give me something that I like? Okay. Cool. Let's take this. Okay, let's do this. We're going to go ahead and split by groups. Let's see how many. Ooh, look at how many groups that made. Holy crap. Did you see that? That was something else. Look at this. This is funny. I don't want that to be a start point. Look, it's so small you can't even see it. Okay, so here's what we need to do. We can see this whole long list of just empty subtools. Okay, we don't need all of these. Okay, you can see it's one poly, has 4 points. Okay, so what I can do is I can select this, I can hit delete, say always okay. Totally fine. That way I can just go through and delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. And I gotta be careful that I don't delete too many. Okay, one more. There we go. Sweet. Okay. So now that we have these, okay, it's not much, but it's a start for us to be able to get something usable, you know? I'm going to take these, let's say, poly groups, auto groups. Okay, brush, Z modeler. Let's go ahead and say Q mesh, all polygons. What do we got happening here? Okay, here's what we're going to do instead. Okay, I want to combine the pieces that I just created. Okay, so we're going to say merge down, always okay. Okay, so I want to watch as these pieces come in. Merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down. And then one more. Nope, I don't need that one. Okay. So, now that I have this, actually, okay, so here's what we're going to do. I can quit live now so that I can get this going. I'm going to split hidden. I can just get rid of this extra piece down here. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so I need this, and I'm just going to say modify topology. Let's say close holes. And there we go. Okay, so now we have this piece, and we're just going to call this done for now. Okay, at some point we'll come in here and we'll sculpt it out so that it looks like it's had chocolate broken out of it or whatever. But for now, this is what it's going to look like. Okay. The rest of it, however, this piece, we want to do what is called a difference mesh. Okay, this is a cool technique for if you are working on clothing, or if you're working on really anything. Ooh, did I put the tamales away? No. And then I gotta give her like a they're in the trunk. But the horchata is in the fridge. She's good to me. Okay, trying to vary up this this edge, and I'm trying to make sure that it feels rugged the way that I want. You know, just kind of like the similar sort of pass as what I did before, right? Let's use this. We'll just take this edge up. I don't need them to be level. So one of the other things that I could do is I could use my move topological and use that to kind of pull pieces around. Very helpful. I dig it. I dig it. Let's see. I might go ahead and make an extra little chunk in here just to kind of break this up, but I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Maybe I'll break this one off, you know? Like this. Okay. Okay, we will call that cool. You know what, there's this unweld groups border. Okay, so now I can come in here and I can modify the groups individually. Totally forgot about that. I was like, why is it still moving together? It's like, duh, you're stupid. Remember that simple button that you know about? That does that one thing. Okay, something like that for now. Okay. Say something like that. Anybody watching? Anybody anybody around? Just trying to be social, you know. Okay. Ghost is still here. Hugo Leon. How you doing, dude? How's everybody been? I think you two might be the only ones right now. It's okay. I mean, I don't have a super popular channel or anything, but it's always fun when people actually, let's use this. Did I move my office? No, I'm just so my desk is in my room, And so one of the things that I did, you know, just for the sake of making more space in the room, it felt really crowded the way that I had my desk turned around. It was nice that way because I had the backdrop of the window, which is right there. I essentially just took my desk and flipped it around 180 degrees, and yeah, I mean, my plan is to go ahead and get a backdrop. Like my wife does photography, and one of the things that she has been wanting is a nice backdrop to be able to photograph the kids, and, you know, to do portraits and whatnot of us or of other people or whatever. She'd love to have her own photo studio, and so, you know, what I want to do is get a good photo backdrop, which could then serve as what's it called? You know, something for me when I'm teaching, or when I'm doing ZBrush live or streaming or whatnot. It just makes things a little bit simpler, you know, hopefully. But yeah. Actually, I don't really actually work at home. I have my computer at home, but I mean, it's just my personal computer with my own licenses of ZBrush and Maya, and, you know, things like that. And my wife, she primarily takes care of the kids. Does a fantastic job. She is a great mother. I am so grateful for her. We're lucky to have her. But, you know, one of the things that she would like to be able to do at some point in the day, someday, is to have a photo studio. She's really, really good. She's really good at capturing moments and capturing people and expression, and it's just a privilege to watch her. So yeah, you know, part of that's just to be able to get her going. Okay, so now here is the part that I was talking about. So we've got all these pieces that are floating here now, but right now they're hollow. There's not really much to them. A couple of these pieces I could get away in just making, like, you know, capping them off. So I'll do that. Say split hidden. Okay, so I can take this, and actually let's move it up one. Close holes. Okay, so now we've got this piece that's all good to go. Okay, good-ish to go. I'm trying to decide. I think I want this piece. Maybe I'll do the same thing with this piece. Split hidden. Okay, so now I got this. And let's say close holes. Just for the sake of making sure, let's go like this, Control A, and make sure that I keep that kind of more masked. I don't want that outer polygroup to move. Okay, let's kind of pull this in. Let's come in here. I'm just going to play with it some. Just using some trim adaptive to kind of play with the shape in the inside. And you can use both the regular function to kind of flatten it down, and you can use the alternative function to kind of build it up. And you'll get different effects which will help you to give your rock faces different shapes. So it's kind of helpful. Okay, so we'll call that good. Unsolo that. So now it's nice. I can kind of start separating these out. Let's kind of pull this up like that. Okay. So now that we're starting to get these, the thing that I was telling you about, we want to create the difference mesh for this. These pieces are so small that if I were to go ahead and simply close holes, it would probably do it, but it wouldn't do it in a way that I would like. So what we're going to do is, right now you can see we've got these single-sided pieces. Okay, really quick, I'm going to say polygroups, auto groups, just to make sure everything's different. Okay, and we can see each piece. What's this little guy right here? Okay, so it's part of that. Just for the sake of trying to make sure everything is facing the right direction. Alright, there we go. We'll keep it like that. Okay. Okay, so we got all these pieces. And like I said, we want to create the difference mesh. And what this does is this uses your morph target. Okay, so I'm going to say store morph target. It'll use whatever you do to this mesh. It'll use that to be able to create depth to your object. So you can do all sorts of things with this. I mean, you can go ahead and you can say, I just want to move that in, I just want to move that in, I just want to move that in, you know, whatever. However you want to do this. I'm going to go about this a little bit differently. Okay, I'm going to say deformation, inflate, but I'm going to go in the negative direction. That was not very effective. Okay, we're going to call that kind of all right. Okay, it just has to be enough that it's displaced. It just has to be enough that it's in a different spot than it was originally. So now I can go, in fact, let's give this some more depth. Let's give this some more depth. Give that one some more depth. Let's give this one a little bit of depth. The idea of what I'm trying to do is create these jagged rocks that are kind of going into the, I mean, rocks, chunks of chocolate, right? Okay, something like that for right now. All right. So now that we have this, let's push on this some more. But yeah, I mean, so far as like the working situation, yeah, my wife gets to stay home. It's something that we feel very strongly about, is that that we're the ones raising the kids, things like that. And so she's here trying to handle that, and then I go to work and I try to bring home that bacon, even though, you know, it's only metaphorically, because we don't really like bacon. Sometimes, in certain applications, right? Okay, let's get some of that. Okay, so we have that in there. Now we can go back up here. Now that we've made differences, okay, we can say create difference mesh, and it'll create a new piece up here. Watch, you see that? Morph difference mesh. So if we come over here, we'll see this, and we'll see that it has thickness and it has a new surface and things like that. Okay, so now this is really interesting because it's inside out. But it's inside out because we used the negative inflate. Okay, so all we have to do is display properties and flip. Bada bing, bada boom. We have these nice, pretty little pieces. So we need to bring this back over in here. We're just going to come in here and say insert. Bring those pieces in. We'll hide the old ones because we don't need them anymore, right? No big deal. Okay. So now we've got these chunks that are just in here. Okay. Some of the other things that I want to be able to go ahead and do. Okay, we see our mountain has like this hollow chunk on the inside, and that's not going to be very convincing for me. So I'm going to Control A. I Control Shift to be able to select that poly group. Then I Control A to be able to mask all of it. Okay, mask all visible. I want to use that fancy snake hook brush. And let's start pulling this up. Okay, essentially what I want to do. Okay, there's a snake hook too, so let's start using that. Oh, I thought that was supposed to give me that option of being able to pull out along the normal. That's kind of not happy for me. I feel so eloquent in my speech today. Okay, let's kind of smooth it out some. Okay, and similar sort of thing, trim adaptive. Okay, this will give us a little bit of our, oops, let's take our Z intensity down. Alright. Okay, so this is looking much cooler now. It's starting to get much more of the effect that I'm wanting. Let's get this other piece out here. I'm just going to grab this with my move topological. I'm going to turn off dynamic. Okay, you see it got really, really big. Okay. We're just going to kind of tear these pieces off and make them float some. trying to decide kind of how close to float these pieces to each other. I don't want them to be super close to each other, but I don't want them to be so far away that you're just wondering if they're from the same thing. I like having these little chunks. I'll probably have to like duplicate some of these and have them floating around on the inside. I'll rotate them differently so that they don't appear to be the same thing. Okay, let's pull that up, pull this up. Okay. I'm just gonna hold control. Come on, you. Okay, let's take this. Maybe we'll take it and we can. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, these pieces, they all have the same polygroup assignation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say auto groups. And this should make it easier for me to come over here and say, okay, I want you over here. Let's shrink you. Let's rotate you around so that you're something different. And let's manipulate you a little bit. Okay. And then let's see what else. Some of these pieces over here that are like the same. I want to take these, move them around. Let's take this up here or something. Let's figure out where we can just kind of shrink it down some. Okay, with this piece, we got to sculpt out this bottom a little bit. So, same thing that we did. Control A. That way we have this part masked and we can just worry about, nope, not rig, come on, TA. And actually, let's turn this on so we can see snake hook and just kind of pull a chunk down, because that's going to be necessary for what we're doing. Ooh, there we go. feel like that's getting a little bit of thickness there around that edge. So maybe let's pull out some more of that. Just gonna pull some of this out. Okay. Now we can use it. Oh, shoot. This is still like super, super strong. It's such a strong, strong brush. It's funny, is like one of the things that I haven't been able to figure out is that there's trim adaptive and then there's trim dynamic. Okay, both names are somewhat similar to what they mean. Adaptive, dynamic, you know, it just means that they kind of both, you know, work, you know, interactively, we'll say. And it's just kind of funny to me how they both mean something similar, but the brushes do something completely different. So for instance, trim adaptive, it doesn't really do anything adaptive to, you know, I mean, to me it feels like it's going through and it's just flattening things. And you see that it kind of brought everything up to that same plane, which is cool. It's useful, but you have to know what the brush does in order for it to be useful. Trim dynamic, this one, you know, the name makes sense for what it is that it does. It goes through and it'll, like, the brush will do what trim adaptive is doing, but it'll change to adapt to the surface, which, you know, it makes sense if trim adaptive did that, but it doesn't. It's okay, I didn't come up with the names, I just sculpt. Okay, let's see how this fits together with the other pieces. There's a huge chunk missing over here, which could be a good opportunity. For me, maybe at some point, if I can get to it, to fill it in. I just need to figure out what to fill it in with. Got lots of pieces over here. Let's actually take this up. Maybe let's take this piece over. We'll try to fit it in here somewhere. Rotate it a little bit. Let's bring this over here and kind of rotate it some, just shrink it down. Let's shrinkify. Let's shrinkify it. I like being able to get just a little bit of warp on these as I use the move brushes. It's really, really helpful. Let's maybe see about taking some of these smaller pieces, and we're just going to add a few of them that are just kind of just outliers. Let's maybe even take a duplicate of that one. We'll rotate it around and we'll shrink it down. This right here, I'm going to add a crack in here just so that it's like the crack is continuing, but it's not actually going through it. I'm trying to decide how far to take this tonight, like on my stream, and how much to save for the Pixelogic stream, because I kind of want to work on something else too. Probably work on the dragon a little bit. Let's actually take this. I just want to shrink it. Oh, come on. And move it up. Let's take these, play with them a little bit more. Okay, so these are two similar, so I'm just going to take this and kind of stretch it like that. And then let's just pull this down here, shrink it. And this isn't something that I'm working on for production, so I don't have to worry about. Let's grab this. However, I do want to treat this as if it is being done for production, because that could be cool. Okay, let's pull this over here. Okay, so now here is the major trick. Okay, I have to check this with my composition and see if it's actually working. I'm just gonna pull this over, gonna make it float up a little bit too. Okay, cool. Alright, let's check it with the rest of the composition. Let's go ahead, we'll say shift click and then shift click, and that'll bring everything in. Okay, so right off the bat, because I'm able to see this now with the rest of everything, I can tell that I want to already come in and make this really just kind of float off more. Okay. Let's see if we can design this in a way that really just feels cool. Might have to duplicate some of these pieces and just kind of fill in some of that void in here. Let's go ahead, let's do this. Oh, let's do this. Control Shift A, Control A. That way we have just these pieces active. And we'll Control drag them up. Let's do this. We'll flip it around and flip it upside down. Let me see if we can maybe take some of this. Okay, make sure we got some cool representation of the polygroups. I think it could be nice to actually pull in some of these other pieces, maybe make them float up here. You know what, let's turn this around. We'll kind of skinify it that a little bit. Let's take this and we'll just shrink it a different way. Just trying to find different ways to be able to vary these things up. Okay. This is definitely like a ton more pieces than I was thinking I'd have. Let's go ahead and save this. I'll save it as version 9. Candyland 9, yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, I think, yeah, we just saved this, right? Just barely, just so I'm not like crazy, not going mental. Okay, I want to work on this guy a little bit. Yeah, in case you haven't watched my stream from Wednesday, this is where we got the dragon's head to, and really quite happy with it. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I am super stoked to see where else we can take it. Let me see, do I have my hairbrush loaded in? It doesn't look like it. Okay, load brush. ZBrush. Need to make sure that I have my SMAARTIST hair. Where is it? Here it is. Whew. It's like I knew it was there. I just couldn't remember my alphabet for a second. Am I missing pieces? This is the latest one. It'll be good for now, I guess. Okay, so, and for anybody who's curious, I have this hairbrush that I created where it's got, you know, multiple strands, so that you can go through, you can do something like this, and you can say, actually, smooth topological. I can tear off these little strands. Okay, it looks like it's doing something funny right now, so I'm going to say polygroups, auto groups. There we go, that's better. It's so funny to me how that's grabbing both groups. It's the move topological and it's grabbing both pieces of the mesh. Anyway, you're able to go ahead and you're able to move it around, move pieces around individually. So what I'm going to do is I want to try taking this, take our stroke, take our curve step down to like, let's say 0.25, come on. Okay. And the thing I want to do, inside of curve modifiers, in the brush size, I'm going to take the noise and I'm going to turn it up. Okay. So now, let's say okay. That's crazy. Okay, so that's giving me that effect. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's try taking this noise down to something really, really low. Let's try this. Let's come over here and we'll say, add something in like that, just to give it a little bit more thickness. Okay. What I'm doing is if I hit 5 when I have the curve drawn out, it'll essentially take a snapshot of that, and it's essentially just committing it. Okay, just kind of... This is not at all turning out to be what I'd like it to be, though. It's kind of a cool effect, but not for this. Okay, so instead of doing that, we're going to take the noise to 0. We're going to get rid of that extra point there. Because I mean, what I'd like to do, and it might just be a matter of getting a rough sculpt in there like this, and then, you know, pushing and pulling it around until it gives me the shape that I want. But what I want is for this hair to feel like cotton candy kind of coming off the top. So let's try it. Let's come down here and select the hair. Okay. Of course, this is like way too dark for for what I would like it to look like. So let's go ahead, let's give this a little bit lighter of a blue. And let's say, go to our standard brush, RGB, turn off Z add, turn it really down low on our RGB intensity, and then we can just come over here and fill object until it kind of gives us the color that we want. Although I'm not gonna lie, it's not really giving me the color I want. So let's come over here. I'm gonna say color, fill object. Okay. You know, we have our standard. Let's come up here. I think pink kind of works. What do you guys think? Just kind of like use a little bit of that darker pink to kind of fake the lighting on it for right now. Okay, cool. So this is what our hair is going to look like for now. Should we sculpt it up some now, or should we save some of that for Wednesday or something? Let's come over here. Let's adjust this, because this is not coming out quite the way that I'd like. I'd like this to hang down quite a bit more. Ah, come on, you. Okay, let's kind of pull this out some so that it's a little bit heavier, a little bit further away from the base of the head. Okay. Okay, so far this is going to be kind of cool. The hair I'm still not convinced about, but yeah, I don't know, we'll figure it out at some point. This was what made my file crash on Wednesday. It was really frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, like anytime I'm trying to stream, it's terrible when the software crashes and doesn't want to cooperate. But it's especially bad when I'm streaming for Pixelogic. I just feel so bad because people are coming and trying to watch and learn or listen or whatever, come inspired, coming to socialize, and when the software crashes, there's just nothing fun about that. Oh. What time is it? 9:30. Man. Must be like an old man or something because it feels late. But it's only 9:30 right now. Let's see. Gonna take this, I kind of want to modify it so that it's coming out a little bit further. I feel like it's staying too guarded in the center, so I just kind of want to modify it so it's coming out some more, which means, you know, obviously I'm going to have to modify the frosting. Oops. Modify the frosting. That's kind of the trick, is that if something isn't quite how you want it, don't just leave it. I'm mostly talking to myself, but you know, whatever. That'd be funny, Ghost, for a tabletop RPG. I think you're the one that kind of inspired the whole dragon thing in the first place, weren't you? Or at least part of it. I think it might have been an idea that I kind of had anyway, but I think you suggested it too, so it just made it sound like an even better idea. Yeah, so far I feel like I'm liking it better without the hair. The idea of the hair is kind of funny. I just feel like it just feels like too much to me right now. And maybe I just need to figure out what the hair would be like in context with the body. And maybe I end up making something kind of like these yellow these yellow things kind of like popping up around down the spine, but Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Okay, these teeth. Okay, I was thinking with the teeth of making them into candy corn, but now I'm not entirely sure. Okay, let me try it. Get those. And then we'll go ahead down here on the bottom. Let's get rid of this one, this one, this one, this one. Let me see. Let's say crease. We'll crease there like that. Actually, let's do this because this will be better. If I just come through and do both sides at once, that way I only have to worry about the one crease. The reason why I'm wanting to use a crease is to be able to bevel and get an extra edge loop in there around those sections, and that'll help so that I can colorize things better. But at the same time, let me see. So if I hit crease, here's the thing. If I hit crease, how does that look? That's actually kind of fun. It's getting me a more stylized curve shape. That the acceleration of that curve, it's more like a shelf. So that could actually be kind of fun. Let me go ahead. Let's say bevel. And then let's do this. We're going to go Control Shift, click on it. Let's get this, but I want it to be more yellow, less orange. So it feels like a candy corn. Let's get rid of the white pieces. I know that it seems like I couldn't really see it, but just to make sure that it's actually there, we're just gonna add it anyway. And it might be worthwhile to actually go down and say bevel. Come on, bevel. we're gonna have to check and see what it looks like before we, just stick with it. I'm trying to decide if I like that or not. It might just be a matter of having to just come in and say, okay, push and pull this in. Say insert to be able to take out a loop. Let's do this on this side. We're going to have to say collapse poly loop. Be able to get rid of that. Let's get rid of these. Let's see, I'm trying to explore this, see if I can get it to... I mean, if this is turning out to be too much, and it is, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's get rid of these parts. Assign a new poly group because I don't want to have to keep Control Shift X, Control Shift X. Oh, Control W just to make those the same. Okay, let's make sure we have our color. Select those. Now we can go ahead and color fill object. Now let's check it out. I think I liked it better without the candy corn teeth. Candy worms. Mokarov, are you talking about, with the candy worms, are you talking about having those kind of going along the back? Because that could be kind of cool. That could be kind of cool. I'm going to save a copy of these just because, and let's kind of come back, bring these teeth back to where they were, their original glory. Because I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. Okay. Now that we have this, I need to go through and start exploring for the hands. So let's get rid of pieces that we don't need. Oh, I don't need this anymore because we already have the other one. So let's delete. Merge dragon head I don't need, so let's say delete. Oh, here's the big dragon body. And we'll just say initialize. Just make it a simple cube. This makes it just so that it's something that's, not holding any space, but that it's holding the name of the file. So right now, let's go ahead, let's rename some stuff. Mouth jelly, antenna, teeth. say head chocolate, sprinkles, eye rings, tongue. I'll leave that tongue there. This is the original tongue, so that we can see. Okay, so this is what it looks like, or this is what it looks like, you know, originally. I can go through and skinny it out later or whatnot as needed. Okay. Head, whiskers. These are the original horns. I don't need them anymore. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit delete. Waffle horns, that's good. Horn frosting, eyes, hair, fibers. I can get rid of this fibers file. Okay. And then I still don't know about the hair. I'm going to keep it for now. Just try to figure out. So candy corn's also something I was considering for the claws, but still kind of unsure about that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this rolls out. To see how it goes. Because I mean, it might even happen that I get this thing fully imposed inside of the inside of my scene, and I decide maybe I want to do something different with stuff, because that always happens. Okay, cool. I'm going to take the eyes and put them near the top. I'm going to put the antenna, just trying to go through and organize things. I'll keep that there. Sprinkles, I'll put them on top of the chocolate because that's how it goes. The eye rings, I want to put those by the eyes. Okay. The tongue, the head chocolate, the head whiskers. Let's take these. Sprinkles, head chocolate. Okay. So yeah, just trying to go through and think about the order and how it would make sense. So just kind of putting like things together. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm done with this guy, I want to make a t-shirt of him. It'd be so cool. Let's work on blocking in a hand for him. Could be cool. Let's say append, and it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to keep it as it is. Okay, so there's this dude, thanks for coming and hanging out with us, Hugo. It was it's good to have you. Yeah, thanks for coming by. You know, I look forward to seeing you next time. Maybe you'll come around on Wednesday. Have a good night. Go sleep. All right. It's good to see you too, bro. Good to see you too. Okay, let's insert. Okay, that way we're starting off with a regular cube. Okay, let me see. probably going to want it to have a bit of a gecko sort of feel to it. So let's pull up an internet. Okay, good. You guys can see that. Sweet. Gecko feet. Ooh, this is cool. Okay, this is really cool. Okay, I'm gonna save that. Let's open the image in a new tab. What the heck? Look at these things. This one's cool. This one's cool. But what in the heck is this? Oh, good night. You're so cool. I love seeing the the tiny little scales. So neat. Ooh, right here. Okay. So between these two, particularly this one, I think we've got a good cookie night using an Oreo shield and a gummy sword. A gummy sword, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that. I was thinking, it was funny, so I was thinking about doing like a little gingerbread man. But I think that that's going too far in the food direction. I want it to be an actual character. And I was thinking about making him like a little pig monk or something to be able to commemorate the year of the pig. Oh, not that. Turn off transparency, turn on solo. Let's turn on our see-through so we can kind of see through. Okay, so what we want to do, this is where I'm going to start inserting edges. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's do it like this. Move infinite Y. Okay, so we're going to go through, we're going to actually pull the we're going to pull the thumb piece, this little guy out of here, I think. We'll have to see. Sherpa and a cotton candy alpaca. That's hilarious. Okay, even for nothing else, that is a really funny idea. I do like the idea also of having the Oreo shield. So I'm going to write that down. So we'll have to see. I could just imagine like a little alpaca sitting, like, just, you know, nothing to do, just kind of nibbling on his shield. That'd be funny. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so we want 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Q-mesh. You know what? Does it have the ability to be able to not keep them together? It doesn't matter. Let's say a single poly. Yeah, it's too close to be able to. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Instead of using Q-mesh, we're just going to go ahead. Oops. I'm going to come over here, use extrude. Okay, so there's 5. Let's see if we can get this rotation to be just right for what we want. Okay, now a lot of this, I mean, I'm not going to be keeping it clean topology. I don't think. I really just want this for blocking purposes, which means that I could have just as easily gone ahead and not worried about let's do this actually. Let's slide. Okay. So, let's see if I can try something new. There's supposed to be this tessellate option. Okay. Okay, that's way dense for what I'm wanting. Let's turn off the see-through. I can't see. Okay, way dense. Polygon size. I think that if we make it bigger, sweet. Okay. Okay, now we're in business. Okay, so now what we can do, let's go ahead and start sculpting. And just use whatever brushes to be able to kind of round these out. I should have just done like insert mesh brushes on a base. It's just the stupid things you think of after you're done doing something. Okay, let's go ahead and let's say this isn't really like the best approach. So let's figure this out. Get some of these. That's maybe too far. Give it some girth. Use the move topological to do some real damage. Okay, so we're gonna pull this out. It's like I'm really just rocking and rolling through this, trying to figure out quickly what these forms are going to be like. I probably won't stay on much longer. My wife will be teaching a lesson tomorrow in church, and it'd be good for her to get some good rest. It'd be good for all of us to get some good rest. It's been a rough week. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take this. Let's shape this wrist. Okay, so I'm kind of branching off a little bit from what I see in the reference, obviously, right? But I'll have to see. What all we can do with this. And I wager we can do an awful lot. It's kind of funny thinking about this this little dragon guy here. It's like if he were made out of different types of cloth, like felt and stuff like that. He could be a creature in the Trolls universe from DreamWorks. It's kind of funny. It's definitely like way big at the moment. You see, I think I want to make these fingers longer. I also want to think about, yeah, I mean, I'm making it too round. So let's go back to our see-through. Let's try this. Let's okay. Anybody gotten any Girl Scout cookies yet? I just bought my first couple of batches today. It's funny, as I usually buy them from people at work, just to support their kids or support their grandkids or whoever it is that they're representing. But yeah, today's my first batch buying from somebody who isn't from work. Last year I bought like 2 or 3 boxes of Thin Mints. Actually, I guess I got 2 boxes of Thin Mints and 1 box of Samoas from some people at work. Okay, let's check this out from different angles. See if it's doing what we want it to do. Okay. Sounds like the fire department's a little bit busy tonight. Okay. Yeah, I could see this hand working with this dragon. I feel like it might still be too symmetrical. So I think what we're gonna do, let's maybe take it, move this forward a little bit. such cool noise. I hope everybody's all right. I don't know what would be going on tonight of all nights, but well, they just had a festival today, the Camellia Festival. Camellias are a pretty big deal flower here. I live in an area in LA called Temple City, and it's a pretty well-known place for great schools, for and I mean especially for camellias, which is a kind of flower. It's a flowering bush. They're really pretty. They look kind of like roses. It looks kind of like a rose bush, but there are no thorns. They don't really smell, which is kind of a bummer because they're really kind of pretty. My wife and kids went to the parade this morning while I had to do something for work. Just glad we got to spend some cool time together later on in the day. Okay, so far I'm starting to like those hands much better. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just leave them like that for now. It kind of looks like a terracotta clay. It's kind of fun. I'll leave it like that. Let's go ahead and say dragon_02. I like to version up every once in a while. It allows me to keep versions and be able to go back and bring in old pieces if I need to, or whatever. Yeah, so on Wednesday, because I doubt that I'll get any time before then, I'll probably go through, refine this hand some. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Thanks for the cool suggestions. Thanks for the cool comments and ideas. Definitely things that we're going to have to think about and consider as we move forward. But yeah, I think that we're definitely making some cool progress here. Definitely making something that looks like progress. And a thought that I had the other day, just to leave you on an inspirational, motivational note. Progress and success are not the same thing. They can often look the same, but they are not the same. So, do not look at any kind of failure as the absence of success or the absence of progress, but rather try to look and see, what am I learning, and is it taking me closer to my goals? That way, when you are progressing, you don't have to always be fearing that you're, progressing towards something that isn't going to eventually happen. Sometimes things won't happen for you, that's fine. Sometimes we need to find new goals, that's fine. But don't equate failure with a lack of progress. Be cognizant of the idea that you might be progressing toward your goal, even though you might not feel like it, or even though you might not see immediate success. That's all. That's all. Anyway. Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to call it. I need to call it good. We need to be good. We need to be done. We need to be finishing. Finito. Yeah. Guardalo. Guardalo. Ponche safe. Okay, done. We're leaving it there. And then we'll add clause on Wednesday and we'll call it fun. Okay, save. Okay, we're good. Sweet. Alright. So yeah, there we go. We're gonna leave it there. And then on Wednesday, we'll pick it up and keep on moving. Okay. Save. Yes. Alright. We're good. Cool. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Have a good night, and I am signing out.